Okay, everybody, welcome to your daily dose of awesome. Your life 50 minutes of daily motivation, inspiration, and education so you can get your day started right. I am super excited about today's special millionaire guest. I have on the line right here Jeffery Combs, a mentor, millionaire mentor of mentors. How are you doing, Jeffery?
I'm outstanding, Fernie. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to contribute with your exceptional team call here today. It's my honor and privilege.
Thank you. It's my honor. You've been in our industry, I mean, quite longer than I have in terms of the people you've mentored, the businesses you've built, and the businesses you've helped people build. And so I know leaders in the network marketing and internet marketing space who you personally mentored and made an impact on. And it's this call has been 10 years in the making since I got in this industry. So I'm privileged and honored to have you on and have you share your wisdom, because you've impacted the lives of some of our members and leaders inside of our Elite Marketing Pro community. And today, what Jeffrey's going to share on is on how to launch marketing and ad campaigns, and basically do the things that kind of scare you a little bit, but how to do those things free of anxiety and fear. And Jeffery has incredible methods for helping you conquer, your fears around taking action because of a outcome that you're afraid might or might not happen. And so I'm going to let Jeffery take over in just a moment. For those of you who are new to our broadcast, I want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Fernie Ceballos. I'm a lead generation online marketing expert specializing in helping home business owners, that's network marketers, affiliate marketers, direct sellers, multiply their incomes using the internet. I built my first six-figure network marketing business within a couple of years of discovering the information we teach here at Elite Marketing Pro. And over the past 10 years, I've been responsible for over $12 million in gross income into my home businesses, and have helped our clients produce hundreds of millions of dollars collectively in their businesses as well. What we teach works, our methods work, but as you will soon find out, it doesn't matter if we're able to teach you a process for creating wealth through internet marketing and marketing campaigns and advertising if you don't take action and do the work. And sometimes just the idea of taking action can stop many of our members and many people across the space. So today, that's what our elite trainer and special guest will be training you on. Now, if you're new to our broadcast, I highly recommend you subscribe. There should be an option to subscribe right below this video if you're brand new, or you can click on the video, click on a little ellipsis symbol, a menu will pop up, and you'll be able to turn on live notifications and follow us on Facebook, unlocking many more Millionaire Mentor interviews that we do here on Daily Dose of Awesome and other trainings we've delivered. This is the most impactful way that we can deliver free content every single day. We go live every single day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So make sure you take advantage of subscribing and all the previous content we've put up. So with that said, Jeffery, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you doing this. We've met quite a few years ago, and you continue to spend a great deal of your time mentoring people. And I think people are interested in knowing what it is you do that creates success in others. And first of all, introduce yourself a little bit and share with people what it is that you teach leaders like Alex and Schlicht, Susan Sly, and Mark Hoverson, who's a personal friend of mine. What have you done in their lives that has helped them create such massive success?
Well, thank you very much, Fernie. It is my absolute privilege and pleasure to be on your call today. I know you have people dialed in here watching from all around the world, and your success is very, very impressive. I want to thank you for having me here, but also acknowledge you for the leader that you are and the impact that you're having in the internet marketing direct sales world. You're absolutely a great mentor of mentors yourself. So I have had the privilege of coaching some exceptional people in my career. I've coached over 60,000 hours one-on-one, 12,000 individual clients. I routinely coach 12 to 13 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. Then I speak every Saturday in some location in the United States. I routinely fly 150 to 170,000 miles a year, inspiring audiences and people to let go of the cause that creates the effect. Now, you've mentioned some exceptional people that I have the privilege of have coached in my past. Alison Schlicht, Susan Sly, Mark Hoverson. That is a roster of some really good people. I myself have been through a lot of challenges in my life. I was once an addict and an alcoholic. I have 29 years of recovery with no relapses. I also went through many, many business ventures that I was not successful in. I started my network marketing career in the late 80s. I mean, it seems like the dinosaur era of what network marketing and direct sales is today, and had my first successes early in the 1990s with a company in Los Angeles called Herbalife. But I went through up the down staircase in network marketing and finally started to find my stride in year number 7. I eventually became a 7-figure income earner. And then in 1998, I transitioned into inspiration and coaching. And I started my coaching career in 1998. And today I've coached over 12,000 clients. Now, what I assist people with mostly is to understand this, why they do what they do. Many people want me to assist them with the technical know-how, but I focus on the fundamentals. In the neurological network of neurons that wire and fire in your brain, if you live in an overwhelmed brain, then you're going to spend a great deal of your time avoiding what you should be doing. That leads to a term called procrastination. Unfortunately, a large percent of the population procrastinates. Now, the procrastination, the definition is to avoid. It's a Latin term, procrastinare, and what many people do is they avoid failure or they avoid success without really understanding why they do it. There's a difference between an intention and a commitment. Most of society's language style is not conducive to the results they seek. They don't understand that their communication between their brain and their body is non-committal. And if you don't integrate the word commitment into your communication, then there's a high probability that you'll come from a state called interest. Now, I'm going to hold up a little sign that I wrote before the call today. It says, action is paramount. Now, that term comes from the book Think and Grow Rich by the great Napoleon Hill. Action is not inaction. Action is action. And action means the skills, the habits, the mindset, dedicated blocks of time to honing your craft. But if you avoid honing your craft and you keep going to seminars, rallies, conventions, or you keep hiring a series of coaches, well, that's education, that's information. But it's inspiration that you require, a clearly defined set of goals, clearly defined set of reasons to overcome your anxieties. Now, most of society lives in an overwhelmed, anxious state. Anxiety is anger, hate, guilt, resentment, abandonment, rejection, and overwhelmed feelings. These are the very emotions that keep you from action. This becomes a story that most people continue to perpetuate to fulfill a neurochemical feeling that they're emotionally addicted to, which leads to disappointment. The internet is the gold mine of today. The internet is unequivocally where you can create your livelihood. Being an affiliate marketer, an internet marketer, writing content, intellectual property, branding, putting yourself out there, videos, writing great content, blogging, posting, any multitude of situations to deliver a message. But if you live in a mixed message in an overwhelmed state and your approach and delivery are not in alignment with where you want to be, then you'll avoid the process and you'll continue to do the same thing over and over to fulfill an emotional state that keeps you overwhelmed and emotionally addicted. Now, I specialize in addictions, not only drugs, alcohol, and standard addictions, but I assist entrepreneurs to understand their addiction tolerance. If you live in an overwhelmed, unorganized state, that is one of the most difficult tolerances to overcome. If you live with a lot of liability debt, that's also a situation that has its tolerance. For you to be able to live the life by design that you feel you so richly deserve, then you have to understand what letting go really means. Letting go means this. It means separating your feelings from the events that shape them. When you learn to collapse an event so you're no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape your feelings, then you are separate from rather than one with that addiction. As you begin able to separate yourself from the events that shaped your feelings, now you can move into your inspiration. So to be able to write content, you have to be able to be innovative and creative. That comes from your limbic brain. That does not come from the neocortex of your analytical education brain. You have to be creative, innovative, be able to attract your reality, the people and situations that will fulfill your purpose and other people's purpose that you seek to attract. Now, you may have heard of the law of attraction 10,000 times. I assist people understand that attraction is a science. And you must be very clear on your avatar, the ideal client that you seek to attract to your reality. But if you're not clear or aware why you do what you do, you will continue to do that which is familiar. Now, you are looking for 20% of society who's inspired, not the 80% of society who's overwhelmed. And it's most of society who's overwhelmed that is not receptive to your message, especially when your message is mixed. When you become clear with your purpose, clear with who you are, and clear with what you're in the process of creating, then you begin to magnetize and polarize, and you create a different expectation. Now, when I go to dinner Friday night, I know this is going to happen. I know there's going to be a parking space right in front of whatever restaurant that I dine in. If it's on Saturday night or Sunday night, it'll be the same situation because I've raised my expectation. You're going to get your expectation, not your goals. Now, many people set goals, but they're not clearly defined, and they don't have an expectation that's clear. They have an interest. When you become committed, when you can communicate with your brain and your body, then you create a one with, so you're in alignment with your purpose and your goals. Then when you're able to sit down to create on command, and that's what you learn to teach yourself, you move out of the how do I's and the what ifs, and you move into an inspired, relaxed body that can create on demand. Then your fingers that go on the keys, you're able to create on command. And you're able to be in a very relaxed body that's able to create content of value that people can sense and feel is the real you. But when you stay in an overwhelmed state and you try to write, then you stay in writer's block. You stay in an overwhelmed, anxious state, attracting to reality the people and situations that will fulfill your disappointment. Letting go is separating feelings from the events that shaped your emotions. As you learn to let go of your anxiety, then you can move into awareness. As you consciously are aware, you have raised your emotional vibration. You begin to transcend levels of consciousness. You learn to move into joy, bliss, love, and enlightenment. And in that space, there's no separation between you and the person you're seeking to attract. That breaks down the 6 degrees of separation to 1. And it's that one person that you seek to attract that you can collaborate with, that you can create cultures with. And that law of 1 becomes the law of 3, the law of 5, and the law of 7. I have the absolute privilege of coaching Susan Sly early in her career, where I watched herself transform to where 15 years later, she's now a multimillionaire, best-selling author, a woman of influence and affluence that's in command, in demand for speaking engagements all over the world. And to be able to watch her transformation and participate in it was enlightening. But I say this to you, if you're watching this, every single one of you in today's call, in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, can be a 6 and a 7-figure income earner, provided that these situations happen. In your law of alignment, you learn to believe, meaning a sense of certainty rather than a sense of uncertainty. When I say action is paramount, meaning you require a dedicated block of time to be able to practice your writing style, your communication style, your ability to transmute your feelings into words in a very relaxed body. You cannot be in a relaxed body in anxiety. Anxiety puts your body in a state of fight or flight. You're not only nervous, you're not only worrying, you're overwhelmed. But it's that relaxed body that you begin to live in that your creativity begins to ebb and flow. And it's that kind of state of flow that creates your prosperity, that creates your reciprocity, that creates your science of attraction. Take the words law of attraction and understand it is a science. The events that have shaped your feelings creates a neurological network of neurons that wire and fire that creates your emotional state. As you let go, separating your feelings from events, then you're in a much more relaxed body. That's a conscious body. Your creativity begins to flow. Your writing style improves. Your ability to articulate your feelings. You start to bring a different level of value and service to free enterprise. Now, in free enterprise, where all of us are operating, that's the free market. That means in the free market, there are no limitations. So your results are going to be a direct reflection of your creativity. The more creative you become, and then the habits and skills that you develop, specifically the fundamentals. I'm a former top-tier athlete, all-state athlete. I played 4 sports for 6 years. And in those 4 different sports that I played, there was a set of fundamentals that I eventually mastered. And the most important fundamental that you master is the simple exercise of breathing. Breathing releases the anxiety you hold on to. Anxiety is what keeps you from writing the content that you require to be able to deliver daily. An intention is not a commitment. The more committed you are to being able to be the person that you're capable of being, the higher the probability that you'll attract your reality. The 1 or 2 people that will be the first people that will allow you to see the signs in the journey that you require to know that you're on the right path. Your belief is your sense of certainty. Your disbelief is your sense of uncertainty. It's your sense of uncertainty that keeps you overwhelmed in an addiction tolerance. People ask me this question frequently: how do I? Well, it's the wrong question, because the real question is, why don't you? The reason you don't is a series of events that create an identity. And if you believe that you are someone who is a procrastinator or an avoider, then you will continue to perpetuate the same set of feelings and create the same result. Breaking through is a very simple exercise that you practice 1 day at a time. It's letting go of your story. It's letting go of the anxiety that keeps you overwhelmed. This is the value of a why, W-H-Y, clearly defined reason to change. And your reason to change must be greater than your problems. Many people focus on the problem. They focus on their debt, how overwhelmed they are, how disorganized they are, rather than focusing on in a B state. 1 day at a time is the person that you are being. As you learn to let go of doing and the anxiety you have at doing, and you relax into being the being you're quite capable of being, it changes your emotions. Your emotions are what determine who and what you attract. Now, we are emotional beings, and when your emotions are driven by anxiety and fear, then you're going to avoid. But when your emotions are driven by love, joy, bliss, inspiration, service, and value, you begin to attract your reality, different people and situations. Now, this is a relatively easy experience and exercise in change. Change is not difficult, change is new. And the more you understand that you are changing your identity, you're letting go of that which is familiar. It's the end of the era, the end of the ego, the death of the ego. As you're able to relax in that state of being, then you start to, your body moves out of its overwhelmed tense state into a relaxed state. That's your creativity, your innovation. Now, Simon Sinek wrote a great book called Start With Why, and most people start with how, what, why. It's backwards. It's why. What is your reason to change? What is your reason to succeed? And it must be greater than your anxieties. But if your anxieties are greater than your reasons, you will perpetuate a series of feelings that will create your procrastination. Now, as you start to step into that person you know you're capable of being, time is a different level of energy. There's 86,400 seconds in every single day, 1,440 minutes. Now, when you can dedicate a block of time to a new skill and you're committed to that skill, then your anxiety begins to dissipate. But when you try and wing it, get around to it, and don't have dedicated blocks of time to mastering the skills and craft of the vocation you seek to become a millionaire in, well, then you're going to continue to avoid. There's a huge difference between a wish and an action. Now, when you move into action, then you'll separate your feelings from the anxieties that you create. And it's that kind of energy that you begin to change your message. So when you sit down to compose and write on command, your energy begins to flow. It ebbs, and the feelings that come to you are going to be different. In the universe, there's 2 different places of energy. There's the Akashic records, and then there's the quantum field. As you start to live in the quantum field, where you're one with rather than separate from, then your creativity begins to be inspired. And it's that kind of inspired creativity that allows you to write a great post that have people that like what you do. They comment on what you do. And that's a habit and a skill. But when you tell yourself you're not good at, that becomes your identity. I'm not good at writing. Well, you haven't had enough practice to discern that. You'll become very skilled at writing when you start to practice the 10,000-hour habit of it. That means the repetition and the experience is what allows you to be good, good to great, great to exceptional, exceptional to a mastery, master to mastered. And as you begin to master your emotions, You'll no longer be the mind-body connection, the events that create your anxiety. And Fernie, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's call. I know you'd said to deliver content for this period of time. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to share with you, with all of your teammates and the people tuning in here today. For anyone who connected with any of the content I shared here today, you can contact me on Facebook, Jeffery, Jeffery COMBS. That's Jeffery. I offer 15 minutes of free coaching to people who are committed to their transformation. If you would like to receive a free 15-minute coaching call and you're serious about or considering hiring me, contact me on Facebook with your phone number in my inbox, and I'll get back to you within a relatively short period of time. Fernie, thank you for the opportunity to share. We'd love to connect with you in Los Angeles here online, and thank you most importantly for all the good you're doing for the entrepreneurs around the world. You are a great mentor, and thank you for letting me be on your call.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Wow. I mean, the response we're getting right now on Facebook is off the charts. I don't think, usually we come on here and talk about, a different strategy of some kind, or on prospecting and recruiting or advertising. You just blew people away. And I think you hit the nail on the head with exactly what it is a lot of our members and a lot of people out there who are viewing our show are dealing with. It actually reminded me when you talked about, separating our fears, or more importantly, having a why that's going to push you towards making some life-altering choices. I remember when I actually was making the decision to join the network marketing industry. I didn't want to do it. I had no desire to be selling stuff. I had no desire to be recruiting people. I just none of it was ideal, except for the fact that I had an even stronger desire to be free from my job and have time freedom. And because I had no other options available to me, and no one had offered me anything else other than this kind of quote unquote pyramid deal, I took it because I desired to be free more than the fear of having to sell or be embarrassed by what I was getting into.
Look at today's world, Fernie. Most of society lives in liability debt. They're in a state between depression and anxiety. Then they're standing in line at the pharmacies of the world waiting for their Adderall, building up a very high addiction tolerance to the addiction tolerance they already have. And these are many of the people that people have anxiety about connecting with. I mean, you have to be able to understand that most of society is in liability debt, between mortgage debt, school loan debt, and then they live in an unorganized space. These are the people you don't want to talk yourself out of recruiting or connecting with, because they're the people that really require what we have. I just became free of all debt. I just paid off all the real estate that I had over a period of time, and I have no debt anymore. And that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have owned my own business. And I learned the skills over a long career of what it means to be free of emotions that drive your inaction, so that you can be in emotions that drive your actions.
No, that's beautiful. Exactly, and I think that, so what it reminded me when you were talking about the words, the language we use. I think a lot of our members, at times when they're brand new, they come in, they go, "Oh, I'm not a tech person," or I'm tech challenged, or I'm not good with technology, and that. So they keep repeating these things that become their reality, and what I tell them. One, don't ever say that ever again. You can learn anything. You can learn whatever you want, and you can learn, how to set up a website and do all the tech things you don't think you're capable of doing. But the first step towards being able to be comfortable with those things is to not use the language that's holding you back. What say you?
Change requires commitment. So, Fernie, what I assist people understand is how non-committed their language is. Like I said, I coach 12 to 13 hours a day. I've been doing that for 19 years. Most of society, here's what's in their language style. Now, I'm a linguist, and I have a degree in radio and television, so I was once an on-air personality. And I started writing sales copy when I was 19 years old in college in 1977. But most people use a word mid-sentence. They put guess mid-sentence, and then their language is very lazy. They use words like kinda and sorta, which aren't even words, they're slang. A large percent of society, when asked a question, answers the question with the sound which isn't a word, it's a sound. followed by a preposition well, and then they tell a story. And when you're in sales and marketing, when you're in the game, when you're in the middle of the moment, when you're present, you hear all this noise going on that the American populace perpetuates. So you can tell real quickly this: who is a qualified buyer and who's not a qualified buyer. Now, when you can create that distinction, then you don't waste your time with the people who don't see your value or don't see the service. No one rejects you unless you create it. Rejection is a nebulous anxiety that most people perpetuate to fulfill their abandonment issues. As you begin to separate your feelings from what you perceive to be rejection and understand that non-qualified buyers don't buy because they're overwhelmed and they don't see the value. Non-qualified buyers don't buy because they have preconceived conditions that keep them from behaving in a way called change. And you can let that go. Then you can find the 20% of the society who's actually looking for your message, products, and services. And that's what you're delivering with your content. And I appreciate you having me here today.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Thank you for taking the time. I know we went a little over, but the response here was so awesome, and people were so appreciative that I think it was worth making a few more comments and having you contribute a little longer. So thanks so much, guys. If you want to share, definitely share this far and wide to as many people as possible on your fan page, on your personal profile. And I want to thank Jeffery Combs for being on. I really appreciate you, Jeffery, for being on, and we will talk very soon. And I think we will have Jeffery back for more episodes because I think people can't get enough. And some questions came in, Jeffery. You do have a podcast, correct, that people can listen to?
I do, every Tuesday night at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. You can find that on my Facebook page or my website, goldenmastermind.com. I will be speaking in LA and La Jolla this summer, so I look forward perhaps to collaborating with you. And I just want to thank you from the center of my heart for having me here. You are an unequivocal master at internet marketing, and I'm a big fan of yours, Fernie.
I really appreciate that, Jeff. That means a lot. And so, guys, you just heard about the why and what's going to drive you towards success. If you want to learn the how, go to elitemarketingpro.com or click on the link in the description, and we will make that happen for you. And with that said, our show is over. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome day. We will talk soon.